Welcome back to part 2 of my empties for November and December and early January. I did part 1 or published part 1 last week, so check that out. Also, I'm wearing the same sweater filming this video, but I did film them on 2 different days. I only had this sweater on for a couple of hours or a few hours that day, and I will repeat clothing to maximize the wear. So I'm wearing it again today. I just basically, this is the second time I got ready. I think I filmed that video on maybe 2 days ago on Friday, and today is Sunday. I am getting ready for church. It's about 7 a.m. I am ready for church. It's about 7 a.m. and I typically leave about 8:15, but I'm wearing the same sweater but different hair. So check out that video. In that video, I had fresh, clean hair with product on it, but I did not style it. And then today we have styled hair. So let me know which of the two that you like best. Disheveled, which is what Friday consisted of, but I celebrate that win because it saves me time. And also let me know, do you rewear clothes to just save for laundry? This sweater right here goes to the dry cleaners, so it may get worn one more time before it heads off there, but be sure to check out part 1. It was getting so long, so I wanted to do a part 2. As always, everything that I share, I would buy on repeat. If it's something that I wouldn't buy again, maybe I received it as a gift or it was sent to me, which is typically not the case anymore, I would always let you know. I'm also, one of the biggest reasons I'm doing a second video is because I have a story to share with you about last year's big topic. The enemy is at work, and the enemy always is. It's a test. But I am getting better and wiser at discerning how the Lord is playing a role, and there's something for me to take away, although the enemy is at work as well. And I'll give you a quick example. If I am in the Word and something happens, let's say the lights just go out in the room that I'm in. Yes, things like this do happen. Yes, many things happen. I believe if all of a sudden the room goes black, this is just a test. The enemy does not want me in the Word. But I also believe that God has His hands on that situation as well, because He also knows that allowing these trials and tribulations and distractions that could potentially discourage me could pull me away from what it is that I'm doing, which is spending time with Him. So He knows that that muscle has the potential to be strengthened by allowing that adversity to happen. So it's been interesting. 2024 was full of life lessons for me. A lot of adversities, but I came out on the other side with a lot of takeaways, and I have been strengthened in so many areas, and I plan to really maximize that in 2025. I am taking the necessary steps to heal myself, expand myself, tweak areas that need some tweaking. I've had a real eye-opener of the areas that serve me but could also be hijacking me at the same time. So a lot has come up in this mind in the last year, and I hope you are doing some quiet contemplation and self-reflection yourself to see how you can live a more mindful, purposeful, and happy life, because isn't that the ultimate goal, right? We all want to be happy. We want to find purpose and meaning in our everyday life. So there's that, and hopefully that right there is just a little motivational nug that maybe you need. Let me know, and don't forget links to everything in the drop down. And without further ado, let's dive into the rest of my empties, and I'll share a story about gasoline. Gasoline and me. And this will jog some memory for those of you who have followed me for a long time and know how I just despise pumping gas. So stay tuned till the end. Let's start with some reading material. And I recently, just a couple of weeks ago, shared a video with you on what I am reading this year and what I already read. And one of them is this national bestseller that was written 20 years ago in 2004. Too Soon Old, Too Late Smart, 30 True Things You Need to Know Now. I've read this 3 times, and today is January 12th. But I'm all done. I am all done with this book and moving on to the next book. Stay tuned. Keep watching me here. Keep watching me on Instagram stories, and you'll hear what I'm reading next. So I do plan to try to read maybe 1 book per month above and beyond my daily reads. So if you want to hear more about that, check out that video. I'll have it linked. Also, check out the video that my business manager, Haley, did recently. I think it published maybe in November, with some wonderful tips on reading, because she is a reading machine. So that's a great video. I got a lot of tips from it. Okay, some more empties. My daily word, which I also talk about in there, that's my daily devotional. I have a couple booklets here. And the additional devotionals that come from that same platform. I talk more in that video. I won't expand here, but here's the booklet that I finished up during the Advent season. Be Not Afraid, The Comfort of Christmas, Advent 2024. So those are empties, although I will keep some of these devotionals and I will keep this book. I also read another book, which I talk about in that video, but I don't have that book because I borrowed it from my daughter Kirsten, and I have since given it back to her. So again, check out that video. Okay, my pen. Love this pen. Been using it for years. It is a favorite. Now with my note cards, I use a different pen. It's black and it's really fine point. Which is interesting because I've always been a blue ink pen girl, but I just like that one and it's working for me. So we're sticking with it. Painter's tape, blue painter's tape. I use this all the time. There's not a week that goes by that I don't find a use for painter's tape. I keep it in the thin width and a little bit wider width. If you followed me for a long time, you're probably chuckling. Tracy has always loved painter's tape and Warner ladders. There you go. There's a plug, Warner. They have taken care of me. This pillowcase, which is my favorite brand, is just getting rough looking. I think Paul had a bloody nose or something, but it's just getting that dingy. You know how when you wash your sheets and your pillowcases in your whites, they get a yellowish, dingy color over time, even if you're using bleach. So I do replace these. I have a ton. This line of sheets from Target, they're my favorite, and you can buy the pillowcases separately. The pillowcases are amazing. I just love this line. So I will have that linked because that was just an upgrade. And then I also replaced our bathroom rugs in the master bathroom, mine and Paul's bathroom. I've had these since 2004, the year that we moved into this house, and it was time, right? Wouldn't you agree? 20 years, it's time, it's time. So I replaced 2 of those with a very similar rug, and they're about the same color. I will have those linked. Slipper socks, which I love, but these have a hole, right? Yes, right there, hole. But I did get some new ones. I actually got them for Christmas. So thank you to the person who sent them to me, because clearly you know me well. This is one of my favorite items. And I have created, in 2024, I created a Tracy's Favorites document. I talk about that in video 1, so go there. But yes, a favorite for sure. And then these tennis shoes, which I typically always replace, and I may do that because I always have 2 pairs of athletic shoes so that I can mix them up. I just think that's important. But when the treads get so worn, as these ones are, it is so important to replace them. So I go through about 2 of these per year, or maybe yeah. It depends. It depends on how much walking I do outside with the 2 different shoes. That plays a big role. Working out in my basement, not so much, but when the treads are gone, even if they still look good, it is time to replace them. So sometimes I will keep an old pair just in case it is a season where I'm walking outside and maybe we had rain the night before or in that morning and it's a little wet out. I may then wear an old pair of tennis shoes, but when the treads are gone, it is time. I will link these, but I will also link the most recent pair of athletic shoes that I bought. How long ago? Maybe fall of last year. So they're still pretty new, and I've never worn them outside, which I love because then when I come upstairs, as I often do during my workout, to go to the bathroom, to get my next water bottle, whatever it may be, to eat a little snack, because I do eat sometimes mid-workout, I'm not walking through the house with shoes that have been worn outside. So that I love doing that. Moving on to supplements, this is my BCAA glutamine by Transparent Labs. I am on an auto ship with these. I have a whole entire video where I talk about my auto ship. I typically get 2 canisters per month, which is a little bit more than what I need. So it's not uncommon about every 3rd month to cancel my subscription. For example, I canceled December and January just because I didn't do as many workouts in December and November. So I was well stocked, and a lot of that was due to traveling. I was well stocked, so I canceled December and January's subscription. But I love this. They have great flavors, and it just complements my workout well. You can get more information in that video. And then I am always on repeat buying my Beverly International UMP, Ultimate Muscle Protein in Cookies and Cream. I am not currently incorporating this in my diet, but I have a full canister that I have not even unsealed because I'm just eating a different style for the month of January with some success and with some disadvantages. And I'm trying to figure that out. We're 12 days in and I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong that's making me incrementally gain weight. Yes, although I feel great and I'm definitely putting on some muscle. So, oh, yes, the struggles. I know you hear me. And then this is the PB2 Original Powdered Peanut Butter. Typically, I utilize these 2 together to make a protein shake with unsweetened almond milk. And boy, I really do miss that. I looked forward to having that every single day, but for the month of January, that is not part of the program. But we will probably revisit it in February, and you know I will keep you posted. The key is you're watching me on my platforms so that you can stay in the know if you want to be in the know. Moving on to the vitamins portion of the supplements, I talk in video 1 about how I plan to no longer save all of these and talk about them just because I really don't go into detail why I take them, when I take them, and what they're for. So I just don't see the point. But I did ask you to let me know if you like me sharing them. I don't know. I just feel like I just don't need to. 2 Neuromag, magnesium L-threonate, vitamin C, vitamin D3 and K2, taurine, not taking this right now, papaya enzyme, ashwagandha, you know I love to say that, milk thistle, apigenin, B6, not taking this right now, B12, dandelion root, not taking this right now. Yeah. And last but not least, we are saying a sad goodbye to these items. I don't know if you can see in the video how compromised these pieces are. We have a gorgeous chocolate brown cashmere scarf. It's hard for me to even be bringing this to the surface again because it just was it's small, but it was traumatic at the time, and it took me a few days to get over it. And it's not about the pieces. It's not about the material things. I could care less. It's about what I was going through in my life at that time and how triggering the enemy being in my life non-stop, just antagonizing me. And again, in hindsight, I know that the Lord had his hands on it, that I am here for his purpose, for his plan. And all of this took place to remind me that my purpose is to do his will, which is my life's task. So part of my life's task, and to do my life's task here in what I share, my word, my voice. It's more that it's not so much about losing some high quality pieces of clothing like I did. These are beautiful wool trousers from Banana Republic. Both items cost me a lot because I don't buy like fast fashion. I mean, I buy quality pieces that will last me the rest of my life. I rarely add anything to my wardrobe because it is so beautifully and methodically put together with quality pieces. So it is difficult to lose those pieces or have to replace them. So this story won't seem significant, but if you were to go back to what I was going through last year, if I would have shared this story then, I'm sure it would be more significant. I wanted to, but I couldn't bring myself to a good place to do it. So if we go back to the date of, I'm looking at my calendar, because Haley was home, and we celebrated Marin's birthday. So we celebrated Marin's first birthday on September 28th. On September 29th, that Sunday, I went to church, and Paul didn't go with me. And I had those trousers on. I actually had that scarf on to go with my outfit. It wasn't super cold. I actually wore a sleeveless top, but I draped that to go in and out. Well, you already know that I resist pumping gas. For years, I have resisted pumping gas. Let me know in the comments section below if you recall all my sharing on that, even way back in the Snapchat days. Fortunately, it is not a problem. Paul has no problem, and he's communicated this to me, getting gas. He would actually prefer to get gas while he's out instead of me doing it. Safety reasons, whatever. He would prefer. I get on the road and I need gas. And I have to try to grasp all the details, but I remember thinking, because I leave so far in advance, so early to go to church because you never know when the devil's going to be at work. You just don't know when there's going to be an accident, traffic backup. I do have to get on the freeway. So I always leave about 10 minutes early, and that gives me time to freshen up in the car, jump on Instagram stories, and I always go to the bathroom because I do have about a 25 to 30-minute drive to get to the church that I'm currently going to. So I get in the car and I said, well, I have enough to get there, but I wouldn't probably have enough to get home. I have time to fill up on the way, and it would save me time because I did have plans to go to the local children's museum after returning home from church with my oldest daughter, Kirsten, and June and Marin. And then my second daughter, Haley, was home from Boston to celebrate that birthday, and she was going to go with us. But as I'm driving, I decided no. Thankfully, I decided that, or I wouldn't have made it to church. And let me just share with you, in the previous weeks, the devil was doing anything in his power to prevent me from getting to church. It was just bizarre. Every Sunday, something would happen to prevent me from getting there. And I even remember a couple weeks prior telling Paul, please drive safe. Please drive safely to church, because if you knew everything in the last few weeks that's been preventing me from getting there, we could get in an accident. Our life could be gone today. I know you're thinking, man, she has some type of disorder. I do. All right. But that's not what it was about. So but again, so in a way, I kind of was like, here we go. I need gas. This is just a test. It's only a test. I get to church, great service, all of that. I get in the car and I go to the gas station. I pull up, and I know some of you will oppose to this, and I don't care. I'm still going to do it my way. I'm sorry. I'm not bending on this one. I am the type of person that I do shut my car off, but I get out, when I do pump gas, right? When I do pump gas once per year or whatever, I put the nozzle in and I start it and I put it where it stays clicked, and I get back in my car. And I do whatever. I do something while it's filling, and then you'll hear it click, clink, and you'll know that it's done, and then you get out and pay. So this is what I do. I do my normal routine. I've got this. You don't unlearn or forget how to pump gas, or maybe you do. Well, as the story goes, we'll find out. So I'm going all along, fill up the tank. I hear it click clunk. Okay, I hear it click clunk. All right, I get out and I pull the nozzle out, and it whips around, and it's still going. And it's so heavy because the force of the gasoline that I'm like trying to grab it and get control of it, and it is drenching all over me and all over my car. I am in utter shock at this point. I get control of it. I put it away, but I am covered in my car. The whole side of my car is covered in gasoline. I'm like freaking out, more so that if anything were to happen that could ignite gasoline on my way home, my car and I will blow up in it. So I have a lot of anxiety driving the 25 minutes home. And I knew the girls were at the house, so I didn't even want to inconvenience anyone, letting them know what happened. But I prayed. I literally said, Lord, if it is my time to go, that's your will. But please make it quick. Like, let it explode. Don't let my car catch fire and then have me trapped. Just let us explode. Clearly I made it home, just covered hair, clothes, everything. I walk into the house, and it just so happened that Kirsten and Haley are standing in the mud hall, and they looked at me and said, up and down, "What happened to you?" I could not. So then I had to get out of these clothes. I couldn't even get the smell out of me. I did make it to the Children's Museum, but I had to shower. It was just that whole ordeal. So back to the clothes. We couldn't even keep the clothes in the house. They were in a bag, in a garbage bag, in the garage. And still, you could smell gasoline in our home for days, on me, everywhere. You couldn't escape this smell. Thankfully, I didn't have like my handbag with me, because I did have my debit card. I only took my debit card out to pay. Paul took the clothes to the dry cleaners the next day, took them out, explained to them what happened, and asked if they thought they could salvage them. And they said, we have to run them through a certain process and it could ruin them. And you have to sign this form because that risk. Well, Paul went ahead with it. And in hindsight, I wish I would have instructed or told him to tell them just to do the normal dry cleaning first and not do that extra step until we know we need it. But that's hindsight. That didn't happen, and they didn't survive. So that's the story. It's a painful one, and it really is more painful, again, not about the material items, but what I was dealing with so incredibly. I couldn't escape. I just could not escape the enticing, the despair that the enemy just continued to try to put me in. And it's so hard sometimes to see that God's hands are on this. I know they were, and I see that now, but it's hard to see it in the moment. So please hear my message as I'm wrapping up. The enemy is at work, okay? Believe me, the enemy is at work, but you have to be able to recognize that God's hands are on this, and God wants the Holy Spirit wants what's best for you, okay? But these adversities are being put in your path to strengthen you, to seek Him stronger, to seek Him more. You have to have faith. You have to have hope. You have to be prepared, and you have to overcome and be resilient to these, and keep your eye focused on the Holy Spirit, the eye on the prize. I am such a firm believer in that, and although the enemy hasn't lightened his load, he has in some ways, because God sees my conviction that is so strong and so powerful that he's not allowing the adversities that the devil was putting out there as significantly. But it doesn't mean he won't, because we have dry pockets in our walk with the Lord. In our walk with faith, we have dry seasons. I've had a couple pockets of those. I don't want to speak anymore, because this is a whole message in itself that's saved for a different time. But I want to leave you with this, so that if you are feeling weary, if you do feel despair, if you're feeling helpless and hopeless, don't numb yourself with distractions. Seek the only one that can help you get through this. Seek Him first. Watch the transformation in your life. Allow and welcome the distractions and the antics. Allow them in to strengthen you, to strengthen that muscle. All right, I have to leave it there, because I could just continue to go on, and I'm called to do that. I have been called to live my life's task. There's a purpose and a meaning to my life, and it is to share this with you. And I won't stop. I won't stop. I'm here for you. I've got your back. If you are looking for someone to talk to, I welcome you to work with me in one-on-one coaching, because we all desire to have purpose and meaning in our life. And if you are in continuous, constant chronic or acute despair that is compromised. And you may need to reach out for support and help in that area. And I would love to be that person. I'd be happy to help you. My coaching packages are on the Hensel Coaching and Consulting website. Take a look at those. Who would have ever thought this would be my wrap session to Empties Part 2, but it is. Well, there you go. Part 2 of a 2-part series with my Empties. Comments, suggestions, share with me about thoughts on the hair, re-wearing clothing, and share with me what your takeaways, if you feel comfortable. I'd love to hear what your takeaways were from last year and how you are leveraging that in 2025, which we could do a whole video on. Don't forget that Q1 3-week intense is coming soon. We start the end of February and we go into March. You can register. There's a link in the description box below to learn more about this wonderful program that I run 4 times per year, highly successful, and I join the community and you can get registered. So the program is for you. Yes, if you're on the fence, yes, you will love it and you will benefit. And it's just a great space for ladies like us who want to increase, expand as a person, and get a little healthier and establish some wonderful habits that serve us well in the process. So thanks for being here. Don't forget to check out video number 1. Take care.